everything that you should not buy, I own, except one item. Let's talk about the things that were once the thing to own and wear, but now they're kind of a bit dusty. All of this is just opinion. There's no offense to be made here. If you own any of this stuff and you really like it and you're thinking you're so wrong, that's fine. Leave comments below. All comments are welcome. Whether you think I'm right, whether you think I've missed anything, whether you think I'm completely off the mark, leave your comments below. The first item is from Dior. Who remembers this belt? Now, if you wind the clock right back, before Maria Graziatori became creative director, this is what the Dior logo looked like. Then she came on board and the Dior logo changed slightly to look like this. Then after, was it a year or maybe a few years in charge, she came out with a third version of the logo that seemed to appear on some of the bags and accessories, and you don't really see it so much now. And I'm going to tell you I don't like it, even though I bought things from it. Here's the first, right? The irony is that the things I'm going to talk to you about that are not worth it and they're so done with, I own most of them. This is the first. Who remembers this logo? So this was put on some of the bags. One of them is this. You see? So it's got that kind of newer style font. Now when I bought this bag, I loved it, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that font because I felt that this looks quite, it doesn't look classic. It doesn't look like the classic Dior font that is normally used, and I didn't like it, but I loved the rest of the bag so much that I decided that I didn't really care. And actually, out of everything I'm going to show you that's got this logo that I think isn't worth it, this is one thing that I am actually glad that I bought, because the logo on it's so minor anyway that I don't really feel like it's an issue, and that's a really good bag. So that logo came out. It came out on a belt. I didn't like it, but I bought the belt, and I bought the belt to match that bag. Then it came out on the bigger waistband. I think this must have come out in late 2018. Since this particular logo style came out, it's now been changed for the 4th time. So this is the newer version. And guess what? They do a whole range of newer belts with the newer logo on it. You can now get the wider belt, but with this style logo on it. So because of that, I'm saying that this isn't worth it, and this isn't worth it. And actually, I'm even wondering now if the newer version with the newer logo on it is also not going to be worth it, because they seem to be kind of playing around with the logo quite a lot in a way that I love Dior, but I don't really like the way the logo keeps changing up. I just wish they'd stick to like the classic version. Before moving on, I really quickly want to mention a belt that I do think's worth it. And before I talk about it, I just want to show you the evolution of the logo over the last few years. So the CD logo on the far left has always been like the classic original, and then it's really slowly evolved. However, the logo on the far left is what is on one of their belts now, which I think a lot of you have seen because it's quite popular. I personally, therefore, think that this is the best belt to get because that is the most classic form of the logo, and it's also the same version of the logo that is seen on the saddlebag. So for longevity, I think go for this belt. Bottega Vanetta Mules. Do you remember last summer? And maybe even the summer before, I can't remember, but you know the oversized, kind of quite chunky, interwoven or quilted mules from Bottega became really, really popular. And then in turn, you could also get the quilted bags that went with them. I was very, very tempted to buy some last year, and I knew this at the time, and I'm quite happy to admit that the reason why I was tempted is because of marketing. I was seeing them everywhere. People on Instagram were making them look amazing, and I really wanted a pair. But actually I thought to myself, how often do I really wear mules? I've got a couple of pairs of mules, and I don't wear them that often because you can't really drive in them because they keep coming off your feet. And I tend to use them if I'm going out with someone and they're driving, or I wouldn't even wear them to the shops because, you know, they kind of come off and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I didn't buy them. Now I'm really glad that I didn't. Those mules are, I think, upwards of £700. And the thing that's changed, here's the thing that's changed. Last year when they came out, they were sold out for, even until winter last year, I remember they were sold out pretty much everywhere. But now what's changed is I've seen so many brands who are cheaper, who have come out with versions of them that pretty much look the same, and they're full leather. It's not like a plastic version. For example, Ganni have come out with their own version of them. I think I've even seen in Topshop that they've done versions. And it's not to say that I agree with that, but I think that the availability of access to cheaper versions that are, do you even call that a dupe or is it a replica? I suppose a replica is when you put a logo on it and you pretend to be the same thing. But availability of good quality, cheaper versions of the same shoe, I think has had a detrimental effect on those. Louis Vuitton, don't kill me for this. Well, it's fine, you can kill me for this, but it's just my thoughts. I'm going to kind of blanket say this, but I feel that another thing that has lost its appeal is the classic Louis Vuitton monogram canvas. And a bit like with the Bottega situation, I feel like counterfeit versions of that have cheapened it. And I've had many of you actually tell me before that the fact that fakes are so available everywhere puts you off buying it. But even as a brand in general, I'm not seeing masses of their bags on social media, with the exception of the new bag that's come out. But I only saw that on social media because of the campaign where it was given to multiple people. That's the only reason why I saw it. I haven't actually seen that bag worn on anyone who's been a customer yet, but we're still in lockdown, so that may change. Let me know what you think about that. I really feel that the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, the Speedy in those classic monogram prints, and possibly Louis Vuitton bags in general have been on a bit of a downturn. What do you think? I always laugh when I think about this brand, and it's really sad because it used to be really good, and now the connotations of it, and is that even the word? That it just doesn't have the class that it once did. Christian Louboutin was at one point the shoe to be seen in. Not this exact shoe, but you know, the red sole. This was kind of like a thing. These are not quite what they used to be. And if you're going to buy any shoes, don't buy these. The Chanel boy. Who's with me here or who isn't with me? Tell me either way. Why do I think this? I feel that Chanel recently, again, I'm actually using social media as a barometer for this. I'm noticing that the classic flaps are having a resurgence, but they're in the mini sizes. They're the mini square, less so the mini rectangle, but then also the size small and the size medium in just plain black. The jumbo size, I don't really see it. And the same thing goes for the boy bags. The boy bags, probably going back 4 years. I remember they were major. I mean, even when this came out, I really liked it, but I left it 2 years before buying it because I thought, what if it ends up being one of those trend bags? And it's like, it was like 2,400 at the time, and I didn't want to buy it. And it has stuck around for, did it come out in 2012? I think so. So like 8 years, something. But I just feel that this bag, the popularity of it has gone down, and I would say to anyone thinking about buying Chanel, buy pre-loved if you can, because you'll get more bag for your money. Also right now, the prices of pre-loved are still quite competitive, and I think when the boutiques open, my guess is going to be that pre-loved prices go up because the prices in the boutiques are going to go up once they're reopened. The other Chanel bag that I think is really worth it is the trendy CC. That is a brilliant bag, and that actually has somehow retained its popularity. But yeah, this is a no from me. The next on this list, and I'm going to try to do my best French, this is the Prada Calle bag. Please let me know, anyone. I remember from school, Calle, isn't that notepad, notebook? I think it is. Someone's probably going to tell me you pronounced that terribly. I probably did. But this bag, this was a thing. This was a really big thing not so long ago, and now you can still get them, they're still available, but the popularity of them has just done this. And I'm really glad I didn't buy one, because about 3 years ago, was it 3 years ago? I think it was, there was the horoscope version, which looks like this. And I really liked it because I'm really into kind of like astrology, and kind of star signs, the zodiac. I'm really into all of that kind of thing. So when I saw that bag in that design, I really liked the look of it. But I held off because I just knew, I thought Prada, like, the thing is with Prada, unless you're gonna buy one of their bags in a really generic style, most of them end up being trend bags. And I thought it with that bag, and so I didn't buy it. And for probably a year to a year and a half, I kept seeing the bag, and I was really tempted by it. And actually, if on Louisa Via Roma, which it was at the time, you'd been able to get it with a discount, I probably would have gone for it, but I didn't. And now, it's always funny, isn't it? Now I look back, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it's one of those bags that's really gone on the slide as well. Do you know, if you're gonna buy yourself a belt, avoid the Dior one that I showed you with that particular logo. And avoid this as well. This, I think, is still fine. I actually still wear mine, and I won't bother selling it or anything like that. And I just use it and I wear it, but it's not got the same grandeur that it had back in 2016 when the new version of this logo, when this version came out, this logo version, and you could get it on this belt. Then there was the Dionysus that came out. You know, this was really quite exciting and quite different. Now, I feel that this has kind of had its day. It's still sold in a lot of places, but I feel like there are other things that have come out in the meantime that are probably more worthy of spending your money on. I find it very interesting the way brands can create a product and it go from completely the thing that everyone wants to be buying to the thing that everyone can't even remember, and they're on to the next item. And I wonder how much of that is orchestrated on purpose to keep us buying, and how much of that is what is popular on Instagram. Vintage at the moment is really on the rise, and I think the more I see on Instagram vintage bags being styled in a really modern 2020 way, the more compelled I'm feeling to kind of start thinking about them. And it is definitely, it's marketing, isn't it? It's that kind of enticing you to consider things that you might not have considered before. And I know that for a lot of you, actually even myself included, that marketing thing and Instagram can be quite annoying, because just when you think you've got everything you want, you're kind of looking at the next thing. So they are the top things not to buy. Everything that you should not buy, I own, except one item. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.